Okay, so for this tutorial, we'll be going over how to use the caseload sheet. So we'll get to these in just a second, but we'll start with what building you're at. You may have multiple buildings you want to keep track of your students. You can list who the case manager is. We'll say John Smith. All of these names and dates are made up. Let's say the student's last name is Martinez and the first name is Alex. We'll add the student's date of birth as January 17th, 2012. That will automatically calculate their age. And I have this in red saying that you don't want to put anything in these cells because they are automatically calculated. Let's say the student is in 4th grade, and we'll put them under the developmental delay category. Now, this is open-ended because states have different categories that they and the names they call for those categories. So you would type in this. And then let's say this student's annual review is due January 15th of 2022. Now, when I enter this date, let's say January 17th, 2022 is when the eval is due, it's going to calculate here which one of these is first. So it's saying that January 15th is the earlier date. So you would want to make sure to have the meeting by then because they're only 2 days apart. And you're not going to have two separate meetings. So you would want to have everything finished by January 15th. Meeting coming up, I've already put in here January 15th. And we will say that yes, this is an evaluation because in January 17th, 2022 is when it's coming up. So we will have an evaluation this year. Let's just say that I would need to get consent by November 30th to have the full timeline. And you can add in notes here that may be specific to that student. So coming back here, you'll notice that we have the developmental delay and then when to send consent. So the developmental delay section here is so that in each state you have different ages when a student can no longer be under the developmental delay category. So for example, in Kansas, it is 10. So if I select and say that it's 10, what it's going to do is any student that is 9 that is still under the developmental delay category, it will highlight as dark orange. And any student that is a year away from that would be a lighter orange. Now, if they're under a different category, like they're already identified as specific learning disability, it's not going to show that because they're not under developmental delay. Now, if your state, for example, were to say at 5 years of age, that's the last age they can be under developmental delay. You'll see as I select that, it switches to these students who are 4 and 3, and now they're highlighted. So this will automatically show you visually when you need to start changing that student's category. And then the last thing here of when to get consent, we want to make sure that we get our timelines met and that we don't accidentally find out we only have 10 days until this evaluation is due. So back here where we put the evaluation consent is needed 11:30. Well, today is November 12th that I'm recording this. And so it's going to say if, for example, 11/15/2021 is when we needed consent, it's going to put in here, get consent. So that way in your caseload at all times, once you have all this information entered in, it will automatically pop up that you're going to need to get consent very soon for that student in order to have the full timeline. And that's all of this is visually based to help you just point out and be clear to the eye that, oh, okay, I see dark orange, I see dark red. Those means that something, I need to do something versus just having numbers. I hope this tutorial has been helpful.